Today we are doing presentation night, but we are not presenting our own presentations. I have Jackson's, for example. So I will be presenting a brief history of Japanese jazz, my favorite topic. There's 5 main characteristics of Japanese jazz. Pianos are always used, as the piano was introduced near Japan. Swing and blue notes. Swinging, like, you know, when they say it, they swing around. And blue notes, of course, is the sad notes. Yeah. Japanese people, they make computers now, but before they were still ahead of the curve, making complex chords and doing a little bit of programming even back then. Call and response vocals. Now this is a classic Japanese thing. Japanese people often use jazz in war times when they were lost in the battlefield, and it's like, where is he? How are we gonna call him, and how is he gonna respond? Japanese jazz was a strategical way to do that, so the enemy didn't know.
He's like, skip it up, papa!
What is jazz? Like, boo-ba-doo-doo. Anyway. And polyrhythms, of course, like a polyamorous person who bangs everyone. Is that what that is? Rhythms, they can use any rhythm. Yeah. Yeah. And improvisation, which you're getting a bit of demonstration at the moment. Japanese jazz artists just went on stage and they just went for it.
Can we have a demo? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, moving on. Why was jazz banned in Japan? Like I said, from the war times, when Japan lost the war, America said, that was very cheeky. No more of that. No more jazz. During World War II...
Oh shit, he was right!
Pretty close! Jazz was considered to be music of the enemy. Or like Japan thought jazz was from America. Anyway, back to my story. They renamed the genre Kion, which translates to cat. Light music. Sorry, I forgot that. Light music, very light-hearted music. YouTube's influence on the Japanese jazz.
You're a YouTuber?
Yeah, I listen to Japanese jazz, but I've influenced it myself. I thought, I wish this was more exciting, because YouTubers, they hate short attention spans, so it's kind of changed Japanese jazz to be more popular as they've increased its excitement by adding vocals and animations of anime people, such as this. Study music, which is obviously Japanese jazz, but it is now called lo-fi study girl, is now very popular. Ryo Fukui started playing the piano at age 18, 23, pretty close. And he died from wounds.
Is he in the war?
Anyway, he saw a resurgence in popularity after his passing. And then, of course, we have Hiromi Yuhara. She is very lively. She's not dead yet. Unlike our previous man, she's alive, so they're much more lively performances, which people love. Hayao Miyazaki is a Nintendo man, I think, and he likes Mario, and he's been putting it in... sorry, my mistake. Studio Ghibli, which of course has lots of
What's wrong with you?
jazz. Just kidding. How did you know I'd get it wrong? Yeah, he's one of the greatest of all time, and he does Studio Ghibli, which has a lot of bunny rabbits in it. And of course, Howl's Moving Castle, which moved by jazz.
It might be, I'm not sure, I can't remember.
Wait, is that it?
Okay.
Anyway, I'll give you a live presentation of this Japanese jazz, and this was actually the piece that moved Howl's Moving Castle. Without it, it would just be Howe's Castle. So. How? 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 How?
I'm glad he gave me the warning, dude. Oh my god.
That was
it.
Yeah. That's this video.
Wow. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Good job, Jordan.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zack, and with my co-host Jordan, we've collaborated on this presentation for you all, and it's going to be about how we save the planet. There's a very sick Earth there. How do we fix it, guys? Well, fossil fuels are not going to be how we fix it. They are very, very deadly, unless you use them in the following way. What are they? Well, in order to know how we use fossil fuels to save the planet, what are they? They are dinosaur bones which you grind up in a mortar and pestle, I believe, and then it becomes petrol. But why are they a problem? And why, a little bit of a prank, we're not going to use them to save the planet? Obviously, the number of fossil fuels on Earth are going down, but then the number we use are going up. How do we solve this? We drive more cars and use more petrol till there's no more fossil fuels, because they got to run out at some point. Create more. That's what we do once all the fossil fuels run out. Exactly. Dead grandma's not going to be running any school buses. No, not coffins. So how are we going to do it then? Well, also not going to be... Oh no, it is going to be through stepping on flowers. So we're going to get all the juices. We got to use plant fossils, not animal fossils. See, that's the problem. Dinosaur, it's not sustainable using animal fossil fuels. But plant fossil fuels? What are you going to do with a dead flower? Chuck it in your green bin? No, you're going to use it to run your car. This is my 5-step plan. First, it's going to be killing all animals and becoming vegetarian. So like I said, animal fossil fuels, no need. We're going to kill all the animals. Even forget about using them as fossils. So, in fact, we're going to use them all as fossils, and then we're going to become vegetarian. So that's why we've got the skull of a dead shrew there.
This has gone so differently.
People are animals too, but we don't want to kill people. No, we don't want to kill people. I really fucking hope we don't want to kill people. Medicine is produced using fossil fuels. That's step 2 of the 5-step plan. Have you guys ever eaten vitamin G? The G stands for grass. So that is made from grass. Vitamin B is made from broccoli. Yep. Vitamin C is made from carrot, etc., etc. But also you can have medication made from dead animals. An example of this is mammoths. Yep. Actually make Panadol. So that's step 2. Let's have a look at step 3 of our 5-step program. And that is going to be horse riding. Now, at first you might think that this is a fucking awful idea created by someone who barely has a brain. But taking a little bit of a closer look how happy everyone is riding those horses. That's because the planet has been saved. Look how flat that field is. And then they collect all the plant juice. They're going to grind it down into vegetable petrol, like vegetable oil, but you can use it to run your cars. And we don't need any animals except for horses. They're the only animal we're not going to kill. Step 4 is going to be a question, which is better for the environment? Cars or the ulterior option, which is horses. Cars are better than horses in only one aspect, and that is they go faster. We figured out perpetual energy. The car squashes the fields as it drives along. We collect the plant juice, we use that juice to fuel the cars, and it provides more fuel than what is used to squash the fields. Unlimited energy, and horses, they need to eat some of the grass. And they eat more than the cars do when we run them on vegetable oil. So, that is how we save the planet.
Just so everyone knows, it was a sleeping.
So, no, it was dead. And that is because we killed all animals, remember, in step 2?
True.
So, the horse riding was a false step. Thought you had me, didn't you? Okay. What about water? And at first you might say, hydro, no? But let me wet your whistle with a bit of facts. We need to conserve water. And the less water you use, the less water is used. And that's a fact. Now, my favorite way to reduce water, I will say right now. stop pissing. If you keep the water inside you, you never need to drink more. I myself have not pissed in the last 6 months, and I also have not needed to drink any water. Retain the bodily fluids. I've been practicing my prostate muscles urethra muscles to retain water. It's like a fucking dam down there. Nothing gets through. I may have some kidney stones, but that's a price I'm willing to pay for the planet. Use the grass, don't fuck the planet in the arse.
You got any more takes?
No, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching.
All right, welcome everyone to my TED Talk. I'm presenting on the behalf of Zack, who couldn't make it here today, but I heard that he did have a large hand in making this one. Well, before we get into it, I hope you guys are ready because this is a life-changing topic. Okay. For me, it was when I was researching it, and it will be for you guys. So just in case you're worried, block your ears if you think you don't want your life to be changed, because this is really going to be a pivotal moment in your life. I'm going to be telling you guys why everything you know is a lie and why the moon landing was fake. I'm going to prove it with unequivocal evidence that you cannot go back on. So this is just be ready to be red-pilled. Your little blue pill cucks. Get ready to be red-pilled with the moon landing. It is, quite frankly, impossible to go to the moon. And if you don't think so, you're kind of deluded. The first major reason is because the moon is very far away. You see it in the sky, it might seem a little bit close to you. You might think, I could reach out and touch that. Wrong. You're stupid. You can't make it that far because it's just so bloody far away. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but we've got rocket ships. How would we get there? Obviously, you're not getting there in the Tesla. If you went in the Tesla to the moon, it would take you at least a couple of hours to get there. And I don't have that kind of time. The range of a Tesla is only, 500 kilometers before it runs out of battery? Let me tell you, the moon is a lot more than 500 kilometers away. It's at least like 600, maybe even more. So you might be thinking, how are we getting there? Boat! Idiot. Boats go in water. There's no water in space. And finally, another way you might get there. A train. A reasonable person would think it's cost effective, it's energy efficient, you can fit lots of people on the train. There's no train tracks in space, you nodding dickhead. Why are you nodding at me saying this nonsense? Now, there are other possible ways of getting to the moon that I was thinking of that I would like to debunk as well. Even our strongest people with super strong legs, Usain Bolt, famous runner, super strong legs, he can only pogo to Mars. He couldn't even make it to the moon. Idiot. What? Trampoline. Trampoline's another good reason. Look, the logic for the pogo still holds up. Trampoline might be a bit more energy efficient, but it's still not quite enough to reach escape velocity. I, as a trampoline expert, would know this one. And finally, as you've seen in the hit movie Up, it is possible to fly away on a house, which would be convenient because you've taken your accommodation with you. But I ask you this, how many flying houses have you guys seen today?
None.
None.
Wow.
None.
Yeah, it turns out when you fly too high, the balloons pop and you crash and die. So the solution that the moon truthers might have you believe is, of course, a rocket, obviously. But this isn't really quite true. Turns out using a rocket which uses explosives as fuel is far too dangerous to ever work. But there is, of course, other reasons why the moon landing is fake, which I will now get into. I mean, it is common to believe that we did make it there. They have these photos. Like Photoshop doesn't exist, idiots. And a little known fact about Photoshop, it was developed in the early 1960s, just before the moon landing. Coincidence? I think not. That's one small step for man, one giant lie for mankind. Look at these fellas. I mean, this man on the left, they call him Neil Armstrong, but as you can see in this beautiful photo, which, you know, you could argue is photoshopped. I would argue that the previous photos were photoshopped. Mm-hmm. We can each have our opinions, moon truthers. But his arms are quite weak. He's not going to the moon. You know in the spaceships they have nowadays, you actually have to arm pedal them yourselves? And this man has never done a day of arm pedaling in his life. Clearly not making it to the moon. They even were so lazy, as to copy the outfits from Toy Story, the famous 1920s film made by, it was actually Disney's first film. These fucking idiots at NASA decided we'll just copy that because did you know that NASA actually stands for, actually, space is an ass. We can't go there. That's the the suffix of NASA.
Yeah.
Does anyone in the audience know who this guy is?
Collins.
You just made that up.
It says on his shirt.
Are you a paid actor by NASA in the audience here?
You got me.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. They put people out in the general population. They'll have people telling you, we went to the moon, birds are real, Australians aren't, they stop doing the accent when they go home. Like, they'll tell you all this dumb shit that is clearly untrue. And, Collins, come on. Unequivocal evidence that the moon landing was fake. There is no air on the moon. With no air, how do you have wind? How are you going to have this flag blowing in the wind? Now, what a moon truther might say is that there were wires in the flag. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a flag with wires in it?
No.
No.
I mean, it looks like the top. Yeah, no.
NASA paid actor.
No.
They got you too.
There's just, they're telling us there's either there's wind on the moon or there's fake flags. Which one are you going to believe? One clear thing that you see in space, wherever you go, is stars. You can look up, you can look down, left, right, diagonal, and anywhere. You'll always see stars in every direction, and it was not in it. Pretty amateur move, but like I said, Photoshop was reasonably new at the time. It had only been out for a few years in the 60s. So I can kind of understand them making the mistake. It's the kind of mistake I would have made in my first maybe week or two of making thumbnails for YouTube. Pretty embarrassing for them, but In lots of movies, they have space scenes. Star Wars, Star Trek, Gravity. Those all look fantastically realistic. What looks more realistic to you? Those movies or these photos from the 60s? The things that are known as fake look realer than the shit that they lead you to believe is real. And we're still out here believing this. If this cameraman and these directors are on the moon, you think anyone's been there? No. Obviously not. So, a question you might be wondering, which would support my theory, is why haven't we ever been back to the moon? 50 years ago, we barely had computers at all, and they lead you to believe that we went there on that technology, and we was like, oh, now it's too hard with all the advances in technology, medicine, spaceships, all that stuff. So of course they're gonna say, oh, we're gonna go back there on Artemis, whoever the fuck that is. It's more like Fartimus, am I right? But they'll be saying things like, we're gonna be going back every single year. They've been saying that forever. Have they been back yet?
No.
I didn't think so. Because they can't, because it was never possible. I'm beginning to question whether the moon itself is really even real in the first place. Ooh. We're answering the hard-hitting questions. Thank you for watching. If you leave with one message, it would be wake up, sheeple. Stop being a moon truther. Start believing in the more logical and rational way of thinking, of believing the moon landing is fake. Thank you, everyone.
Right, this is why Vikings are not as cool as you think. This is a topic I very strongly believe in, so let's get into it today. There are a lot of Viking-themed shows on Netflix. Now, this is obviously by a poet that has remained anonymous, and it's sort of a philosophy that I think is true, and I think that the way that we are viewing Netflix shows is, this is cool now because it's on Netflix. Let me ask a question, sir. Do you think Strange Things are cool?
Yeah.
Exactly right. And Stranger Things is a?
Show on Netflix.
Oh, show on Netflix. So there are a lot of Viking
That's why I
themed
believe it.
shows on Netflix. That's correct. Why have I chosen this topic? Well, mostly because I feel strongly about the horns they wear on their head, and also that it's obviously it goes all the way to the top. It goes quite all the way to the top. And I think Vikings have been made up to be cool to try and replace superheroes. That's a superhero. Right there, that is Viking Dickius, my favorite superhero Viking, which they are trying to perpetuate for our children to watch on Netflix. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And this one says a lot. Look at this moron. He's got, 2 hammers? Thor's got 1, perfect number of hammers. They did it right the first time with the superheroes, as I keep saying. They're trying to perpetuate these stereotypes that we don't like. Really hate this stereotype. He's got horns on his head, which is obviously just really stupid. Why do you need horns on your head? You're not a freaking animal. Sort of strengthening this point.
You've got about 800 words to go.
Strengthening this point will be the next slide, which is going to really summarize the point that Vikings do not go to school. right here, as you can see, obviously very uneducated, this Viking right here. Moustache is a sign of education, obviously, but the rest of his outfit has no education about it. Right, obviously, moving on. Why Vikings weren't very nice? So Vikings were not very nice because they were pillagers of towns, and they destroyed families. And they had uncool hair. As you can see on top of my head, the best amount of hair is nearly none. That guy there has like 10,000 really long hairs, which is so stupid. And the other reason they weren't very nice was because they had unsafe helmets. I was talking about this before. The horns drive me crazy. You're not an animal. Take off the helmet and just be in society with the rest of us. Just some ideas I've come up with about how to make them cooler. Of course, would be to change the clothing, to educate them, and to trim the beards. As we're going to see right here, the first one is education. Less historically accurate. So, educating history. Forget about history and let's just make it up. You know, the best things are made up. Tell me your favorite superhero.
Batman.
Made up. Tell me your favorite superhero.
Iron Man.
Made up. Exactly proving my point. And
Greta Thunberg, she's my superhero.
You're cringe.
yeah. What's up? Okay, so for example, these are the two things I would change in my Viking show. One, take the hats off. Two, take the hats off and think about a new idea. Put your brainstorming hats on and get to a new time period. I'm talking the future. Setting, space. As we saw before, the moon isn't real, and obviously some of the best things are less historically accurate and more fun and fictional. So let's just get to the moon with the Vikings, take the hats off, and let's get into it. The third point, of course, more diverse casting, because Vikings are all white males, and we are sick of white males here on this channel. We want to diversify the cast, females, any sort of race, creed, whatever you believe in, come on in, you can be a Viking. And that's it for my points. Thank you. Questions?
Yeah. So how would the Vikings go to the moon in your show?
As it's fake, of course, we can actually just use a lot of the themes that were presented in moon landings, put them in a spaceship, pop them up, and we're going to design it like a boat because that is interesting and cool.
Oh, wow.
Any more questions? This will be good.
Which celebrity would you cast in your show? Who would be your #1 pick to really up that diversity ranking?
Whoopi Goldberg. Next question.
Do you have any Viking relatives?
I wish.
No, you don't. They're not
don't.
cool.
Oh yeah, no Viking relatives. Of course, that is a brilliant news for me, no Viking relatives, because they are very uncool.
All right, thank you.
Hey guys, you know what's cooler than Vikings? Likings this video. So go down there and likings this video and subscribe Vikings.